My name is Isabella Marie Carter. I'm 35 years old, and I ended my marriage with one word. The fight started over dishes. It always sounds ridiculous when you reduce a marriage to something that small. Dishes, a sink, a Tuesday night. But it was never about the dishes. It was about the slow erosion of respect, about exhaustion that had settled into my bones so deeply I no longer remembered what rested felt like. Ethan was 33. 2 years ago, he quit his marketing job to find his purpose. That's what he called it. I supported him. I told him to take his time, to explore, to breathe. 2 years later, he still hadn't found anything except new ways to spend my money. I was working 50-hour weeks as a project manager, paying the mortgage, the utilities, the insurance, the groceries, the streaming services he swore were research. My paycheck funded everything. His contribution was emotional support and vague plans. That Tuesday, I got home at 7:12 p.m. The kitchen sink was overflowing. Plates crusted with dried sauce. Takeout containers stacked like small monuments to avoidance. The living room looked like a windstorm had passed through. Laundry draped over the armchair, and Ethan was on the couch in gray joggers scrolling through TikTok. "Hey," I said quietly. "Rough day. Any chance you got to those dishes?" He didn't look up. "Busy." "Doing what?" That's when he looked at me. "Excuse me? I'm just asking," I said, setting my purse down. "The place looks the same as this morning." His jaw tightened. "Are you seriously questioning what I do all day? I'm asking why I'm paying for everything and still coming home to this." Wrong sentence. He stood up fast. "Oh, here we go. Miss Breadwinner. You love holding that over my head." "I'm not holding anything. I'm tired." "You're controlling," he snapped. "You think because you earn more, you get to dictate everything." "I'm not dictating. I'm asking for partnership." "Partnership?" His laugh was sharp. "I'm not your maid, Isabella. I'm not asking you to be my maid. I'm asking why nothing gets done when you're home all day." "Nothing gets done?" His voice rose. "I work on myself, on my growth, on figuring out what I want. And in the meantime, you act like I'm worthless." I closed my eyes for half a second. "I didn't say you were worthless. You imply it every time you ask about money." Because he pointed at the door suddenly, face flushed. "You know what? I can't do this anymore. If you're so miserable, then leave." I blinked. "What? You heard? Are you serious right now?" His voice hardened, dead serious. "If you walk out that door right now, don't you dare come back. I mean it." The ultimatum. He'd thrown softer versions before. "Maybe we should separate. Maybe you'd be happier alone." Always expecting me to chase, to reassure, to apologize. I really looked. He was certain I'd back down, that I'd say I didn't mean it, that I'd fold like always. Instead, I nodded. "Understood." I grabbed my keys. "Wait, what are you doing?" he asked, a flicker of confusion crossing his face. I walked to the door. "Isabella, don't be dramatic." The door shut behind me. I could hear him yelling something, but the sound dulled as I walked to my car. My hands were shaking, but my mind was strangely calm. I checked into an extended stay hotel near my office. The room smelled faintly of bleach and loneliness. I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at my wedding ring. It felt heavier than it had that morning. Then I opened my laptop. Divorce attorney near me. I found one with a 24-hour consultation line. Scheduled for 8 a.m. My phone started ringing around 11 p.m. "Ethan." I let it ring. Text after text followed. "Okay, where are you? This isn't funny. You need to come home. You're overreacting. Answer me." Then, "You're being ridiculous." I turned my phone to silent. For the first time in months, I slept without bracing for another argument. At 8 a.m. sharp, I sat across from Ms. Sophia Torres, mid-40s, impeccable suit, eyes that had seen war in family court. "How long married?" she asked. 7 years. "Children?" "No, he said he wasn't ready." "Assets?" "House in both names. I've paid the mortgage alone for 2 years. Separate bank accounts. Mine has around $32,000. His may be $600. She nodded slowly. Any documentation of the ultimatum? Hotel receipt. Timestamp. A faint smile curved her mouth. Not kind. Strategic. Here's what happens, she said. He'll likely get half the house equity, possibly spousal support due to income gap and marriage length. But voluntary unemployment helps us. We can limit damage. What do I do? Do not go home. Do not contact him directly. Document everything. Let him react. I hired her on the spot. By noon, my phone had 31 missed calls. Baby, please. This is insane. I didn't mean it. I'll change. Then anger again. Fine. Be that way. I didn't respond. My brother Ryan called around 2 p.m. Is Ethan blowing up your phone too? I asked. Yeah. What happened? I told him. Long pause. You actually left. Yep. And filed this morning. Another pause. Good. Good? He's been living off you for 2 years, Bella. You never said anything. You weren't ready to hear it. Am I ready? Now? Sounds like it. The next morning, Ethan was served. Miss Torres called me at 10 a.m. He has an attorney already. His parents hired one. They're saying this is a misunderstanding. What did you tell them? That you're proceeding. She paused. He's called my office 5 times. I almost felt sorry. Almost. Because for the first time in 7 years, I wasn't the one scrambling to fix what he broke. Ethan didn't believe me. Not at first. When the papers were handed to him at the house, our house, he apparently stood there staring at them like they were written in another language. That's what Ryan told me. Ethan had called him again, voice shaking, asking if this was some kind of tactic. A tactic. Like I was playing chess and not dismantling my entire life. Miss Sophia Torres called me shortly after. His attorney reached out, she said. They're framing this as an emotional overreaction, claiming he never meant for you to actually leave. I leaned back in the stiff chair in my office break room. He told me not to come back. Yes, but they're arguing intent. He intended it, I said quietly. He just didn't intend consequences. There was a pause on the other end of the line. I could almost hear her approving nod. He also called my office directly 5 times this morning, she added. My assistant had to warn him about harassment. I exhaled slowly. That night, his mother called. I should have ignored it. I didn't. What is wrong with you? She snapped before I could say hello. Hi, Linda. You don't just leave your husband over one argument. He told me to leave and not come back. He didn't mean it. You know how Ethan gets. Yes, I said evenly. I do. That's why you work through it. Marriage isn't disposable. Neither is respect. She huffed. He's devastated. He hasn't eaten. That's interesting, I replied. I worked 50-hour weeks for 2 years while he figured himself out. I was exhausted. No one seemed concerned about my appetite. You're being cruel. What exactly has he done for me these past 2 years? I asked. Silence. He made a home, she said finally. He made a mess, I corrected. Her tone hardened. He'll take you for everything. Tell his lawyer to send the demands. They arrived the next day. I was in Miss Torres's office when she opened the email. She read in silence for about 30 seconds. Then she laughed. Not a polite chuckle, a sharp, incredulous sound. Oh, they're ambitious. How bad? Full house equity, $4,000 a month in spousal support for 6 years, half your 401k. You pay his attorney fees. His car paid off. $50,000 for lost career opportunities. I blinked. Lost opportunities? Yes, apparently being unemployed voluntarily was a sacrifice. My lips pressed into a thin line. What's realistic? Half house equity is standard. Support? With voluntary unemployment and no children? Maybe $1,500 to $1,800 a month. For 2, maybe 3 years max. Your 401k is mostly premarital. We protect that. The rest is fantasy. Counter it. She nodded. I will. That afternoon, Ethan showed up at my office building. Security called me. There's a man in the lobby claiming to be your husband, the guard said carefully. He's emotional. Of course he was. I'll come down, I said. He was standing in the center of the lobby, eyes red, hair uncombed, looking smaller than I'd ever seen him. People were pretending not to stare. "Bella," he breathed when he saw me. "Please." "You can't be here," I said quietly. "We need to talk." "No, we don't." "I made a mistake," he rushed. "I was angry. I didn't mean it. You know I didn't mean it." "You said it." "People say things when they're upset, and then they deal with what they've said." His hands shook. "I'll get a job, I swear. I'll do better. Therapy, counseling, anything." The word therapy hit me strangely. 2 years. 2 years of me gently suggesting it whenever fights spiraled. He'd always said, "We're fine." Now we weren't. "I'm not trying to scare you," he said desperately. "You made your point." "This isn't a point," I replied. "This is an ending." His face crumpled. "You're really doing this?" "Yes." 7 years, Isabella. I know exactly how long. Security shifted nearby. "You can't just throw us away," he whispered. I didn't. He flinched like I'd slapped him. "You told me to leave," I said softly. "You've said versions of that before. I just finally listened." His eyes searched mine for something. Doubt, softness, hesitation. He didn't find it. "I love you," he said. I felt something move inside me. Not love, not anger. Grief, maybe. "I loved who I thought you were," I answered. "That's not the same thing." Security stepped closer. "Sir, we need you to exit the building." He looked at me one last time. "You're cold," he said. "No," I replied. "I'm done." They escorted him out. An hour later, Miss Torres called. "He's spiraling," she said calmly. 6 more calls to my office. Does that help? Sometimes, emotional instability can motivate settlement, but it didn't. His attorney responded with barely modified demands, still insisting on most of the house equity. $3,500 a month in support. "We're heading toward mediation," Ms. Torres warned. "Possibly trial. How ugly can this get? Depositions, financial discovery, public records, everything." "Do it," I said. "Whatever it takes." There was a quiet in my chest I didn't recognize. Not happiness. Not relief. But clarity. For years, I'd been bending to keep the peace. Absorbing accusations. Apologizing for earning more. Shrinking myself so he wouldn't feel small. Now he felt small anyway. And I wasn't shrinking anymore. Mediation was scheduled. Discovery was beginning. And somewhere deep down, I had the faintest suspicion that the man I married wasn't the man I was divorcing. Discovery peeled him open, not emotionally, financially. Miss Sophia Torres called me 3 weeks into the process, her voice carrying that sharp edge I'd come to recognize. "Isabella, did you know about the credit cards?" "What credit cards?" Silence. 3 of them, she said. "Total balance, $22,000. My stomach dropped. "That's not possible." "Oh, it's very possible," she replied. "Shopping, restaurants, spa treatments, online subscriptions, all within the last 18 months. I sat down slowly. "For what?" I whispered. For someone who claimed he was struggling and unsupported, he seemed to be living quite comfortably. His attorney tried to argue it was marital debt, that we should split it. Miss Torres responded with my bank statements from the last 2 years. Every mortgage payment, every utility bill, insurance, groceries, property taxes, repairs, all household expenses, she wrote back, paid exclusively by my client, while Mr. Carter had 0 income. The claim died quickly. But that wasn't the worst part. It wasn't the money. It was the deception. He'd sat across from me at dinner tables, me eating leftovers because I was too tired to cook, while he ordered delivery on a card I didn't know existed. He told me he felt financially insecure. He'd been funding comfort in secret. Then came the house. His side claimed he'd increased its value by $35,000 through design improvements and maintenance. Their appraiser submitted a glossy report. Our appraiser dismantled it in under a week. Cheap furniture, cosmetic changes, deferred maintenance, wear and tear ignored. The house had actually depreciated slightly. That claim died too. But humiliation doesn't die quietly. It screams. His mother began calling my family, my parents, my brother, my grandmother. She abandoned her husband, Linda told anyone who would listen. She's heartless, destroying him. My mother shut it down. Your son told my daughter to leave and never come back, she said calmly. She respected his words. She didn't mean, then he shouldn't have said it. That was the end of that conversation. Ethan escalated. I'd moved into a temporary rental closer to my office while the house was being prepared for sale. Small, clean, mine. One evening, I stepped out of my car and froze. He was leaning against the hood. We need to talk, he said immediately. No. 5 minutes? No. I miss you. I swallowed. You miss being taken care of. That's not fair, isn't it? His eyes softened. 7 years, Bella. You're throwing it away. You threw it away. I was angry, and I was tired. He stepped closer. Where's the woman I married? She's the same woman who worked herself into exhaustion while you figured out which podcast inspired you this week. His face twisted. I hate you, he snapped. Okay. He blinked. That's it? I'm not absorbing that for you anymore. His voice cracked. Please, go home, Ethan. I don't have a home anymore. That hit. For a split second, guilt pricked at me. Then I remembered the 3 credit cards. I didn't take it from you, I said quietly. You gambled it. He left. But later that night, a social media post appeared. A long one. About emotional abuse, about being controlled, about being abandoned during a mental health crisis. He didn't name me. He didn't need to. My phone buzzed with screenshots. I didn't respond. Ryan did. Publicly. Interesting narrative. Reality. Ethan quit his job 2 years ago, refused to work, secretly accumulated $22,000 in personal debt, and told Isabella to leave and never come back. She did. Actions have consequences. The post disappeared within an hour. Mediation was worse. 3 hours in a sterile conference room. Ethan cried almost the entire time. His mother sat beside him like a defense attorney without credentials, interrupting constantly. She gave up everything for this marriage, Linda insisted. What did he give up? I asked calmly. Silence. He had dreams, she tried. He had 2 years and unlimited financial support to pursue them, I replied. What did he build? Nothing. The mediator attempted middle ground. We were miles apart. Ethan wanted $3,000 a month. Full house equity. Attorney fees. I wanted fairness. 5 months after I walked out, the day before trial, we settled. Half the house equity after sale. $91,000. $1,800 a month in support for 30 months. His car, still with payments. His personal belongings. His secret debt. All his. I kept my 401k minus a small marital portion. My savings. My car. My name untangled from his. The judge signed off, just like that. 7 years, reduced to paperwork and signatures. He cornered me in the courthouse parking lot. I hope you're happy, he said bitterly. I'm getting there. You destroyed my life. You destroyed your own life when you thought I'd never call your bluff. We could have had everything. We had me working and you consuming, I answered. That's not everything. I loved you. You loved my stability. His mother rushed over. You'll regret this. You'll end up alone. Maybe, I said, but I won't be resentful. I got into my car. For the first time in years, when I closed a door behind me, it wasn't a threat. It was freedom. It's been 8 months since I walked out, 3 months since the divorce became final. I bought a small condo with my portion of the house sale. 2 bedrooms, quiet building, 15-minute commute. The mortgage is less than what I was spending on that house alone, before utilities, before groceries, before quietly subsidizing someone else's lifestyle. On the first of every month, $1,800 auto drafts from my account. 27 payments left. I have a countdown on my phone. Not because I'm bitter, because I like clarity. I heard through mutual friends that Ethan burned through most of his settlement already. New car upgrade, new wardrobe, a couple of healing trips with friends. He's living with his parents now. Still hasn't gotten a job. Some people think I was too harsh. Marriage is supposed to weather storms, one coworker told me gently. Maybe. But storms require two people holding the roof down. I was the only one gripping beams while he complained about the rain. The condo stays clean, not spotless, just maintained. If there's a dish in the sink, it's mine, and I wash it. The silence here isn't tense. It doesn't feel like the pause before another accusation. It feels like space. The first few weeks were strange. I'd wake up in the middle of the night expecting to hear him sigh dramatically or slam a cabinet. Nothing. Just the hum of the refrigerator. I sleep through the night now. I joined a recreational soccer league, something I stopped doing because Ethan said it took time away from us. I started cooking again, real meals, not exhausted takeout eaten in silence. I see friends he didn't like because they influenced me. Funny how isolation looks like devotion when you're in it. Ryan asked me last week if I regret it. Sometimes, I admitted. Miss him? I miss having someone there. That's different. I don't miss Ethan specifically. I miss the idea I had of him. The version I kept waiting for. The partner who would wake up one day grateful and motivated and equal. That man never arrived. I got a text from an unknown number last week. Do you ever think about me? About what we could have been? I didn't respond, but I did think about it. What we could have been was a partnership. Two adults contributing, respecting, building. What we actually were was me funding a life he didn't want responsibility for. There's a difference between supporting someone and carrying them. I ran into one of his old friends at the grocery store last month. You know he tells people you blindsided him, she said carefully, that there were no problems. I raised an eyebrow. She shifted uncomfortably. We all knew that wasn't true. He complained constantly about you controlling him by asking him to contribute. Then why didn't anyone say anything? She shrugged. Not our place. And he never listened. He listening now? She let out a small laugh. Now he's playing the victim. That doesn't surprise me. It's easier to be wounded than accountable. People ask if the attorney fees were worth it. The stress, the public mess, every single penny, because the alternative was going back to walking on eggshells, back to absorbing ultimatums meant to scare me into submission, back to being an ATM with a wedding ring. If I had returned that night, I would have taught him something dangerous, that threats work, that if he pushed hard enough, I would fold. Instead, I taught him something else. When you say leave, you risk being taken seriously. I've thought a lot about second chances. I believe in them for people who are actually sorry. Was Ethan sorry? He was sorry he faced consequences. That's not the same thing. Real remorse sounds like ownership, not I didn't mean it, not you're overreacting, not you made your point. Ownership sounds like I failed you. He never said that. He said he was angry. He said he was stressed. He said I was cold. He never said he was wrong. There's a massive difference. 27 months from now, the final support payment will draft. That thread will be cut. But emotionally, it's already severed. Sometimes at night, when the condo is quiet and the city lights flicker outside my window, I think about that Tuesday. The dishes. The ultimatum, the look on his face when I said, understood. He thought I'd apologize. Instead, I left. 7 years of marriage. And the best thing Ethan Carter ever did for me was tell me to go. I just finally listened.